For today's video, we are going to talk about how to represent piecewise functions, and we are going to explain everything in details. So when we say piecewise function, it's a function that is defined on a sequence of intervals. For example, f of x is equal to x squared minus 9 if x is less than 2, f of x is equal to square root of x plus 7 if x is greater than or equal to 2 but less than 10, and f of x is equal to x plus 4 if x is greater than or equal to 10. As you can see in the given function, it consists of three equations where each equation applied a certain interval over a specific domain. So these are the basic concepts that you need to understand in order for us to represent piecewise function. So let's start and let's have an example. 300 pesos monthly for a particular mobile plan which includes 100 free text messages. Messages in excess of 100 are charged 1 peso each. Represent the amount of a consumer pays each month as a function T of M of the number of messages M sent in a month. So let us have T of M. T of M, that is the amount of consumer pays each month, and M, that is the number of messages sent in a month. In our first statement, a user charged 300 pesos monthly for a particular mobile plan which includes 100 free text messages. So let us have 300. 300, that is the amount paid of consumer if he or she uses 100 free text messages or less. If the consumer uses 100 free text messages or less, we are going to have an interval M is greater than 0 but less than or equal to 100. In our second statement, messages in excess of 100 are charged 1 peso each. So let us have 300 plus quantity M minus 100. M minus 100, that is the messages in excess of 100. For example, if the consumer uses 110 messages, that is 110 minus 100, that is 10. So 10 plus 300, that is 310. So the consumer pays 310 if he or she uses 110 messages. And our interval, that is M, is greater than 100. And this will be our answer. On example number 2, the cost of hiring a catering service to serve food for a party is 150 pesos per head for 20 persons or less, 130 pesos per head for 21 to 50 persons, and 110 pesos per head for 51 to 100 persons. For more than 100 persons, the cost is at 100 pesos per head. Represent the total cost as a piecewise function on the number of attendees of the party. So let us have C of H, that is the cost of hiring a catering service to serve food for a party, and H, that is the number of attendees in the party. In our first statement, the cost is 150 pesos per head for 20 persons or less, so we are going to have 150 times the number of attendees for 20 persons or less. And for our interval, since we have 20 persons or less, we are going to have H is greater than 0 but less than or equal to 20. And then, 130 pesos per head for 21 to 50 persons. So we are going to have 130 times the number of attendees for 21 to 50 persons. And for our interval, that is H greater than or equal to 21 but less than or equal to 50. And then, we have 110 pesos per head for 51 to 100 persons. So let us have 110 times the number of attendees for 51 to 100 persons. And our interval, that is H, is greater than or equal to 51 but less than or equal to 100. And lastly, for 100 persons, the cost is 100 pesos per head. So let us have 100 times the number of heads for 100 persons, and our interval, that is H greater than 100. And this will be our answer. On our last example, you have a summer job that pays time and a half for overtime. That is, if you work more than 40 hours per week, Your hourly wage for extra hour is 1.5 times your normal hourly wage of 30 pesos. On letter A, write a piecewise function that gives your weekly pay P in terms of number of hours H you work. On letter B, how much will you get if you work for 50 hours? So let us represent this one as P of H, that is the weekly payment in a summer job, and H, that is the number of hours you work in a week. Since you are being paid 30 pesos for normal hourly wage, we are going to have 30 times the number of hours you work. And then, for our interval, let us have H greater than 0 but less than or equal to 40. And if you are going to work more than 40 hours per week, we are going to have 1,200 plus 45 times H minus 40. So we get 1,200 by multiplying 30 times 40, and that is 1,200. And we get 45 by multiplying 30 times 1.5, it will give us 45. And for our interval, H is greater than 40. And this will be our answer for letter A. And for letter B, how much will you get if you work 50 hours? Since the number of hours is 50, that is H greater than 40, we are going to use this one. Let us have 1,200 plus 45 multiplied by H minus 40. Let us have 1,200 plus 45, and the number of hours, that is 50 minus 40. Let us write 1,200 plus 45. 50 minus 40, that is 10. And 1,200 plus 45 times 10 is 450. And 1,200 plus 450, that is 1,650 pesos. And this will be our answer. So I hope you've learned from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless us all.